In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a YouTube channel step by step. And particularly, I'm going to show you how to create a YouTube channel for the purpose of building an online business around it. My YouTube channel drives about 100,000 plus a year into my bank account, which is really cool and exciting and fun. But when you look at my channel, you might think it's kind of small. It's like 6,000 subscribers. How is it turning into what most would consider a full-time income? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to build a YouTube channel for the purpose of creating an online business around it. So if you're thinking about turning your YouTube channel into a place where you build an audience and eventually sell online courses, membership sites, consulting, coaching, any other kind of digital products, as well as doing affiliate marketing, then this video is for you. Most videos on how to get started on YouTube center on just how to grow on the platform itself, which is important to know how to do that. And I'm always working on growing. But this is going to be different in that I'm going to show you how to use YouTube for your own goals and purposes, which is to build a business outside of YouTube itself. Who am I? My name's Lane. I love to help people start and grow online businesses, and that is what we do on this channel. So if you like that and you're into it, be sure to give this video a like. If you don't like this video, be sure to hit the dislike button twice just to make sure that it counts. Also, be sure to subscribe. Now, I want to tell you about myself and my journey because that's important to whether or not you're going to take my advice. I started an online business back in 2014 with a simple blog. Now, I didn't actually know that I was starting an online business. Back then, I was just starting a blog and blogging about my ideas. Well, that blog eventually got a large following and I started to write more. Eventually, I wrote a couple of books and then eventually I made a podcast. And then in about 2019, I decided to get serious on YouTube. And that blog and brand has turned into one of my online businesses that is called Preaching Donkey. That's what it's always been called. I do communication coaching for pastors. Well, that YouTube channel really catapulted the growth of that business. The blog, the podcast, the books, they were all great, but the YouTube channel is what actually made all of it come alive. It made it grow exponentially, and it allowed me to make a living off of it, selling courses, membership sites, coaching, and consulting. I went over to this channel and I repeated the process, only this time I started with YouTube and I'm building all those other things on the other side of this. So 2 years ago, I started this channel, the Lane Sebring channel, as a personal brand to talk about online business and passive income. And initially I was actually going to talk about writing books, which we'll get into in just a second. I pivoted from that and now I'm almost exclusively talking about online business and passive income. But the point is, YouTube has served me so well between those two businesses and has allowed me to create the kind of lifestyle that I want. And it's so much fun. And here's the secret. You don't have to grow a large channel. You just have to do a few things right, and a few loyal viewers can drive a lot of traffic to your business, and you can make a living, and you can make a great living. I'm on my way to multiple six figures this year and hopefully $1 million in revenue by next year or maybe the year after. But eventually we're getting this thing to $1 million, and because it's an online business, expenses are very low, profits are very high, and it all is possible with what most would consider to be a very small YouTube channel. So this is gonna be a nice beefy video. We're gonna talk about everything. I'm gonna go through a massive list of things: the mindset you should have, how to determine your niche, how to determine your audience, how to create a content plan for your YouTube channel, all the gear you're gonna need, how to determine when to upload, how to create your channel. We're gonna do it all, okay? If you want a shortcut, I've got the chapters listed out below, but I would suggest just watching the whole thing, especially if you are brand new to YouTube and you're trying to figure out how all this stuff works. Before we get started, I wanna put something in your hands for free, and that is my super simple guide to your first $500 online. If you go to lanesebring.com/super simple, this is yours for free as my gift. A lot of what we're going to be talking about in this video is about how to build an online business that stems from YouTube. So in this guide, you're gonna get exactly the steps that you need to build the business that YouTube's going to support. And it's super simple. That's why I call it the super simple guide. So go to lanesebring.com/super simple. You can pick it up for free as my gift. All right, so let's dive into YouTube. The very first thing that we need to kind of make sure that we're on the same page or the right page is our mindset. When it comes to YouTube, there's all kinds of things that can trip you up, that can make you fail, that can make you quit too early, and that can make you not successful or not successful fast enough or whatever, to where you get discouraged and you quit. The first thing is thinking that your YouTube channel and that your videos have to be amazing from the very start. Let me just tell you, they will not be, and that is okay. If you want to feel better about yourself, go to my channel called Preaching Donkey, go to the videos tab and sort by oldest video and watch the first 2 or 3 videos that I put on that channel. The camera was bad, the lighting was bad, the microphone was bad, I was bad, I was terrible on camera, I didn't know. I knew I wanted to do YouTube and I watched YouTube all the time, and I would just think, okay, it's easy. Let me just get in front of my phone and do this. And it was awful, but I got better and better and better. And now I'm marginally better than what I was. In fact, I think I'm way better than what I was. And I hope that 2 years from now, I'll look at this video and cringe because I'll be that much better. That is the beauty of YouTube. You get better over time. But if you put this pressure on yourself that you have to be amazing from the very start, you are going to be sorely disappointed because there just isn't a way to be amazing at something that you haven't done. You have to be able to practice. And the way you practice on YouTube is you put your videos out there and you let them exist out in the wild, and you see how they do. You see who comments on them, what they say, whether they get clicked on, whether they get watched, and you do that 50, 100, 150 times, and then you start to figure out what's working, what's not working, and it's totally the long game. But in order to have the vision that you want, a YouTube channel that's large and growing, or a YouTube channel like mine that's small but still making you a great living, if that's the vision, you have to be okay with initially your first videos, as Sean Cannell says, being your worst videos. Your first videos are your worst videos, according to Think Media and Sean Cannell. And I totally agree. Your first videos are going to kind of be an embarrassment, and you have to be okay with that. The second mindset that you have to have is one of experimentation. When I first started this channel, I was gonna mostly talk about self-publishing books. And if you look through the first part of my videos, the first 15, 20, maybe 30 videos that I published, almost entirely they are about self-publishing books. And as I got into that, what I realized is that my true passion is helping people create online businesses, which may include books as a part of their product suite, but really what they want and what I want to help them get is a platform from which to sell online courses, membership sites, coaching, consulting, and maybe if they want books. But books in and of themselves were just not something that held my interest enough to talk about it indefinitely, to create courses on it, to do all the things that I wanted to do. So eventually I just kind of decided, you know what, I'm gonna leave books behind. They're still there, people can still benefit from that content, and to this day, people still watch those videos, they comment on those videos, and I appreciate that, but books are just not my main thing. But it's okay that I experimented with that because I'd written a couple of books, one of which was a bestseller in its category on Amazon. And I thought, I'm gonna give this a try and see if I can make a YouTube channel around this. And now it looks different. And maybe 2 years from now, 4 years from now, 5, this channel may have a totally different focus, but it's going to be my personal brand and I can experiment with it. So don't get stuck on, I've got to map this thing out for the next 5 years of exactly everything I'm going to talk about and make videos about, because you just can't. And that's okay. Experimentation is a big part of the YouTube game. And then finally, the third mindset is You've got to take this for the long haul. You will be very disappointed if you think that you can jump on YouTube and within 3 months or 6 months have 100,000 subscribers and have all this fame and wealth and just be rolling in ad revenue. For some, that happens. For most, it's just not the case. It's a grind. You have to work very hard, but it's incredibly rewarding and it can be unbelievably lucrative. But you have to decide when you start that you're going to persevere. You're okay if your first videos stink, you're just gonna get better every time. You're okay to experiment because we don't know what we're really gonna be interested in and what people are gonna respond to until we start making content. And we are going to stick with this for the long haul. If you can agree to those 3 things, then I think you can start a YouTube channel and I think I can help you. In fact, I know I can help you. That's why we're doing this. You and me, we're gonna go through this together. I don't know how long this video is gonna end up being, but it's gonna be amazing. All right, let's get to determining your niche or your niche, depending on where in the world you are watching from, but basically the topic, the what of what you're gonna talk about. In my case, I have 2 channels. One of them, the niche, is preaching, and particularly how to preach, how to prepare and deliver messages. This channel is about online business and passive income, particularly how to start and grow an online business. So I talk about online courses, membership sites, coaching packages. I talk about YouTube, I talk about podcasting. Basically anything that kind of touches on online business, that's what this channel is about. So determine your niche. In the guide that I offer to you for free, lanesebring.com/supersimple, I have a step-by-step process in there of how to determine your niche for your online business, which your niche for your YouTube channel should be the same if that's what the goal you have for that is. But your niche is something that maybe you already know, or maybe you need to walk through the guide. It'll give you some questions to ask to determine what exactly you are going to talk about on your YouTube channel. Once you've determined your niche, now we want to determine our target audience. So if the niche is the what, the target audience is the who. Who is your channel for? Who are you talking to? And why would they listen to you? So for me, over at Preaching Donkey, I'm talking to pastors who preach, who want to communicate better, who are open to coaching and open to coaching from me. I've got a 5-point criteria, generally speaking, on my target audience. In this channel, I'm talking to people that are me about 5 years ago, maybe in their late 20s, early 30s. They're trying to figure out how to make money online. They're a little bit confused by all the options out there. It's a little bit discouraging and kind of like, just trying to figure out like what's a scam and what's legit and what makes me feel a little bit icky that I want to avoid and what's actually kind of exciting and all of the confusion that comes with trying to make money online. I want to pierce through all that and say, for those of you who have something that you can teach, something that you know, something that you've experienced, something that you're passionate about, that you can communicate to others, build a following around that, and then sell digital products that help people learn even more with you, I want to help those people. So that's the topic and the target audience. I'm looking for that person who's searching for how to make money online or already knows they want to make an online course business, but it seems intimidating and they don't know where to start and don't know how to get going. That's who I'm talking to. So once you've determined your niche, go ahead and determine your target audience. Who is the person or what type of person or who are the people that your content is going to speak most to? And then really try to define in the clearest possible terms who that person is. What are their interests? What are their likes? What are their dislikes? Where are they struggling and stuck? And what are their goals? What are they trying to accomplish? Some people call this an ideal customer avatar. We'll just call it a target audience person or target audience member. Just basically, who is your content going to be for? Nail that down in as specific terms as possible, because what that does is when you sit down to make your videos, you're gonna have that much clearer of an idea of who you're talking to. And when those people see your videos, they're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I feel like you're talking directly to me. That's what you want. Once you have your niche and your target audience, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna start to create a plan for our content. What are our videos going to be about? I wanna borrow a term from Graham Cochran, and we're gonna call this content buckets. Basically, the 3 to 5 categories of content that you make. What are your videos going to be about, generally speaking? Break them down into categories or buckets. The reason why we want to call them buckets is because in those buckets, we're going to put the actual ideas of what we want to make our videos about. So again, going back to Preaching Donkey, my content buckets are sermon prep, sermon delivery, church leadership, and lessons for pastors. So in each of those content buckets, what I'll do is put actual video ideas all the way down to like what the title should be, what I'm thinking for it, and then I'll have a section for notes. I put all this in a Google Doc. It's super easy to do. But go ahead and make your content buckets and put in the types of videos that you think you might make for each one of those buckets. What this does is it allows you to do a lot of the prep work ahead of time so that you're not sitting down to make a video and reinventing the wheel every time. Even for this video, it was planned well in advance with my title and my notes, and it existed inside of a content bucket. So all you have to do right now is think about your niche, your topic, what you're teaching, and who it's for, and go ahead and break down what are the 3 to 5 categories that I might be speaking about in my videos. Make a spreadsheet or put it on paper, doesn't matter, but just give a title to each one of those buckets and then begin to write down ideas of what might go in each one of those content buckets. Later, when we start uploading content, you're gonna go and grab from those buckets and pull out a video idea. The way this works, that's pretty cool. Let's say you have 4 content buckets that have about 10 to 12 video ideas in each one. That's 40 to 48 video ideas. That gets you through the better part of a year if you only upload once a week, which is not a bad schedule. So this is a massive part of the process of going to YouTube, because what you don't want to do is create a channel, get a camera, do all this stuff, and then go, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. The hardest part of all this is determining what your videos are going to be about. It's the most work. So do all that work up front to get at least a little bit ahead, and then you can tweak it as you go. I'm always going to my spreadsheets where I have my content buckets, and I'm adding, I'm taking away, I'm working with things. I'm looking to see what performed well in the past. I'm looking to see what I might want to do in the future, but at least I have something to go to. So I'm never sitting here just going, what am I going to talk about today? It just never happens because I have content buckets and I've filled them in. Again, mad props to Graham Cochran for that idea. All right, next we're gonna talk about the gear you need. And particularly what I'm talking about is cameras, lighting, and microphone. When you're first starting out on YouTube, you really don't need much other than your phone. You have everything you need. If you have an iPhone, you're gonna be fine for a while. When I first got on YouTube, I recorded almost all of my videos standing in my closet because it absorbs a lot of sound in front of a built-in bookshelf with my phone attached to the wall. Like, that's how low production it was. And that got me through about 50 videos on my Preaching Donkey channel. So I'm a firm believer in there really is no excuse not to start right now if you have a phone. And when it comes to lighting, the best friend you have is the sun. If you have a window that you can face, that will go a long way to lighting your face and giving you pretty decent lighting. If you want to level up from there, you can always buy lights, you can buy a camera. I use the Canon T7i. I also use the Logitech Brio, which is a webcam. I have Favatech softboxes that are illuminating my face right now. I've got background lighting. And by the way, all of that is linked down in the description below. If you want to check it out, I've got it all there. But you don't have to have all that to start. If you've got a decent phone and you've got decent lighting, even just from the sun, the most important thing is actually audio. How you look, people will tolerate, but if they can't hear you, or it's too echoey, or it's not loud enough, or it's too loud, then people have a hard time with that. The best way to get good audio just from your phone is to be in a space where a lot of the sound is absorbed. This is why I used my closet for a long time, and now I have a really sophisticated microphone, the Shure SM7B, that takes care of a lot of that for me, which is also linked down below. But again, you can get decent audio just from your phone if you're in the right space. So now that you have a phone and you have a window and you can put some clothes or blankets around you to absorb the sound out of sight where no one can see it on the camera, you are pretty much ready to go when it comes to gear. You can always level up as you start to get better and as you want to make the quality a little higher. There's all kinds of things that you can do from there, but I suggest start with what you already have. Next, we want to nail down an upload schedule. So it's very important to determine when you're going to post and stick to that schedule. My suggestion is when you're first getting on YouTube, stick to once a week at least. If you want to go more than that, you can go up to 3 times a week. I think 1 to 3 times a week is pretty ideal, really, for just about any YouTuber in just about any niche. There are exceptions, but what you don't want to do is overcommit at first and say, I'm gonna post 5 days a week, because you're probably only gonna last a week or maybe 2 before that becomes overwhelming. You can't go from never recording videos and editing them and uploading them to 5 days a week. So I would not commit to that. It's way better to commit to 1 day a week and actually do that than it is to commit to 3 days a week and only last a few weeks and fizzle out. So 1 at the least, 3 at the most. Pick the day and upload on the same day or the same days every single week. Now, the next step, once you have your upload schedule, is you have to determine when you are actually going to record and edit your videos. My suggestion is work ahead. Batch some of your videos, especially before you even launch your channel. For this channel, I had 7 videos already recorded, uploaded, and ready to go before I ever hit publish on the first video. The reason why I did that is because I wanted a little bit of a head start. I wanted a runway to make sure that I was not going to easily get behind. So my suggestion is go back to your content buckets and pull out 3 or 4 or 5 video ideas and go ahead and record all of them up front so that before you even launch, you have a whole big backlog of videos ready to go and you can make them public once a week or whatever your schedule is. And then that gives you the opportunity to work ahead so that when you're recording videos, you're batching. Basically what this means is instead of recording 1 video at a time, you're recording maybe 2 or 3 videos at a time. So every step of the way, you're just doing the same thing 2 or 3 times. So when you record a video, you don't just record 1, you record 3. When you edit your video, you don't just edit 1, you edit all 3. And when you upload the video, you don't just do 1 at a time, but you do all 3 at a time. And if you do that, and you're on a once a week schedule, now you just put yourself 3 weeks ahead and you're that much further along in being able to pay attention to other things like how your channel's growing, how people are responding to it, how your analytics are looking, and you're not just focused on getting this week's video up because you're already ahead. The key though is to continue a batching schedule so that you remain ahead. And I can tell you, as someone who has 2 main YouTube channels and 2 other YouTube channels, it's really hard to do this. I have not mastered this skill. I am still working on getting ahead and staying ahead. But what keeps me on track is my upload schedule. Once I set a schedule, I really don't like to miss. And what this is gonna mean is that sometimes I'm right up against my deadline and I'm making the video that day. That's not ideal, but that's part of the YouTube business. You make a commitment and you stick to it, and over time you start to build around those things so that you can have some margin, you can get ahead, and you can begin to breathe a little bit and focus on other things besides just making content. Now we're gonna look at actually making your YouTube channel. First, you wanna determine what are you gonna call it? You could call it your name. That's what I did for this channel because it's my personal brand. You could also call it the topic that you're gonna be teaching about on your YouTube channel. In that case, it might be something like Preaching Donkey, which is completely not my name, but it's a made-up name that I call that entire brand. So you can decide. There's really not a right or wrong way to approach this. You can have a personal brand that teaches a specific topic. You can have a name that is really just something that you've made up, but it works for you. It really doesn't matter. But if you do have something that you call your online business, or that you're wanting to call the online business that you're going to create, then you might as well make that consistent and call your YouTube channel that. Now, I do want to point out, I am going to do separate videos on each one of these steps as we're getting into the gear that you need, creating your channel, making a schedule. We're going to look at thumbnails, all that. I'll do a separate video for each of these to go in more depth and actually show you step by step how to do this. And so watch out for those videos, which I'll be uploading in the coming weeks, and we'll go into more depth. For this video, we're just kind of laying the foundation. But go to YouTube, create your channel. They'll walk you through step by step. You're gonna upload channel art. You're gonna pick a name. You're gonna determine what your channel is gonna look like, how it's gonna be structured. It's pretty streamlined on YouTube. It's really hard to mess up because they walk you through the process step by step. Once you have created your channel, you've got your upload schedule, you have determined your content plan, you know the gear that you're going to use, you have your topic, you have your target audience. Now we can move on to the next step, which is to make our first video. So go ahead and grab the camera that you chose, the lighting that you chose, whether it's a window or professional lighting, whatever you have, and make your first video. In the video, I suggest that you begin by telling people the exact value that they're gonna get from the video. That's the promise. You can hook people very quickly just by simply telling them what the video is gonna do. For example, the very first thing I said in this video that you're watching was, in this video, I'm gonna tell you how to make a YouTube channel step by step. I didn't try to make it fancy. I didn't try to be cute. I just said, look, this is what I'm doing in this video. And here we are 20 or so minutes later, and you're still watching. So get right down to the nitty-gritty of what you're going to do in your YouTube video. Then you can let people know what they're gonna get more specifically through the rest of the video, all the things that you're gonna cover, and then maybe introduce yourself and get into the body of the video quickly. Make sure at the end of the video, you invite people to take the next step that you want them to take. In online business, your YouTube channel is going to be used to drive leads to your business. So if you have a lead magnet, it's great to mention that in your YouTube video and make sure that it ties back and connects to the content that you're making. It can't just come out of left field. Again, if you're putting all this together and your niche and your target audience for your YouTube channel matches your niche and your target audience for your online business, then this is just another avenue, another way to market your business and drive traffic to it. So go ahead and mention that call to action. If you want to ask people to subscribe, that's great. If you have another video that you know is already in the queue and you can point people to that, then go ahead and do that. Once you have recorded that video, it's time to edit. I use a software called ScreenFlow. There will be a link to it in the description below. And again, I'll make a detailed video about ScreenFlow a little bit later. The thing I like about ScreenFlow is that it's not just an editing software, but it's also a screen capture software. So for online courses, it's perfect because you can capture your screen. In other words, it'll record whatever's on your screen. At the same time, it will capture your camera. So it's recording you and your microphone and even the computer audio. And it records all of that at one time and then puts it on an editing timeline. And you can very simply and easily edit that video. I use it for YouTube. I use it for social media when I'm doing videos for that. I use it for my online courses and my membership site. It's an amazing tool. You can click my link below. That is an affiliate link. So it does go to help support me at no additional cost to you. Next, you're going to need to come up with a thumbnail. Now, I suggest using Canva. I actually have a video right here about how to make thumbnails in Canva, and I'll probably update that because some of my tactics and strategies have improved since I made that video. But Canva is an amazing place to create amazing eye-catching thumbnails that will serve you well, because in the YouTube world, the name of the game is click-through rates. That means how many times people actually see your video versus how many times they click on it. You want that click-through rate to be as high as possible. And what makes somebody click on a video is whether or not the thumbnail catches their eye, and then the title is compelling enough and has a compelling enough promise to make them want to watch the video. So work on your thumbnail, work on your title, make sure that those two things are attractive enough. One of the things that I used to do, and I still do this, is I would look at YouTubers that I like, people that I follow that have large channels, and I would just see what patterns emerge, what kind of things are they doing, what seems to be working, and just try to make your own version of that, something that's working, that fits with your brand, fits with your personality, and then again, treat it like an experiment. Every single video, every single thumbnail, it's all experimentation. We're just seeing what works, and when it starts to work, we double down on it, and if it seems to not be working, maybe we pivot and we try something else. All right, now that we have everything in place with the video completed, we have the thumbnail made, we've got a title, we are going to upload. Go to your YouTube studio, click the little button that says create, and upload the video. While it's uploading, you'll be able to put in your thumbnail, you'll be able to put in the title, you'll be able to put in whatever tags you want, and you can go through the whole process of getting the video published. Once it is out in the wild and public, there's a few things you want to do. First, like the video. I know that sounds kind of crazy because it's your video, but get a like on there. That's really, really helpful. Also, comment on your own video. One of the things that I like to do is comment on the video using my call to action. So on this video, if you go down to the comments at the very top, you will see a pinned comment from me where I'll say something about my super simple guide, because that's the primary action that I want someone to take who watches this video. So that just gets a comment already on there. The reason why that's important is if somebody's watching your video and they want to comment and they scroll down and there are 0 comments, there's nothing, very few people want to be the first one. But even if there's one, and even if it's you, it still breaks the ice and it makes it easy for other people to comment. When people comment on your video, reply to every single comment. Get as much engagement going as you can. Share the video with your friends, share the video on social, and be patient, because like I said, this is a long game that takes a while to get some traction. The key to success on YouTube is determining that you're gonna upload that first video, and then you're gonna upload that next video, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and you are not going to care if you're not getting much traction. What you're gonna do is keep tweaking it, keep looking at it, keep trying to figure out what's working, what's not working, celebrate every small win, and ignore any of the defeats. Just learn from them and keep moving forward. And about 50 videos later, you're gonna look back and say, wow, my videos are so much better. I'm starting to grow an audience. I'm starting to get the hang of this. And if you're using YouTube to drive traffic to your online business, you're gonna start to see the power of YouTube over time for reaching people that you never thought possible, reaching the amount of people that you never thought possible. And if your content has the right stuff in it, like you're providing value, you're providing help, you're a little bit maybe entertaining, you're bringing your personality and your whole self to it, and you have a very clear call to action to your lead magnet, which brings people through your email welcome sequence. All of that, by the way, is the kind of system of online business that I teach in my super simple guide, lanesebring.com/supersimple. But I have found YouTube to be the best driver of traffic to my entire system, which makes all of this possible and puts a ton of money in my pocket. So if you would like to dig deeper into that, I have a video right here all about how to start an online business in 60 days. So if this has kind of got you curious and you're ready to start your YouTube channel, go ahead and start your YouTube channel, but check this video out and learn how step by step to start your business in the next 60 days.